World. Welcome to World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions Show. How are you today? Thank you for joining us live or in replay. This is the show where we interview inspiring people from around the world to share with us their story. I'm Viva Andrade O'Flynn, your host and Global Media Relations of World Humanitarian Drive. We're at the last week of February, known as the Love Month, LGBT History Month, Black History Month in the US, National Arts Month in the Philippines. How fitting that our special guest today is an internationally respected visual artist and Secretary General of WHD UK, Mr. Eugene Ankomah. We'll get to know his inspiring story in a short while. Meanwhile, here's a brief background about World Humanitarian Drive. World Humanitarian Drive, also known as WHD, is an international NGO founded in Croydon, UK, by British Indian global peace activist, entrepreneur, writer, Dr. Abdul Basit Syed. The primary vision of WHD is to promote peace, education, and trade harmony initiatives globally among everyone across the world, regardless of race, religion, or nationality, living as one family. On this Inspiring Millions show, we encourage you to engage with us. Please help us spread love and inspiration by sharing this link. Put your questions that you would like to ask our special guest, Eugene Ankomah, or comments that you have for us in the chat box. Let us also know where you are watching this, wherever you are in the world. Let us keep you company and brighten your day as we share love, peace, creativity, and inspiration. Today, our virtual stage takes us to the UK, where we have an in-depth conversation with an internationally respected visual artist, Mr. Eugene Ankomah. Born in London, Eugene Ankomah is an internationally respected visual artist, mentor, and personality who is both known for his many innovative, groundbreaking art projects, styles of art, ever-evolving fashion sense, and characters he creates within his work. Having shown his work in many countries in Europe, Africa, and the US, he is an artist who has successfully enjoyed an art career for over 25 years, with many art awards under his belt. He has recently been nominated for Man of the Year, alongside the boxer Anthony Joshua and Formula One racer Lewis Hamilton, amongst others. He is the UK Creative Director for Flame International Festival for Fashion and Art. His works can be found in major public, community, and private collections, coupled with respect and admiration worldwide. Eugene is dedicated to raising others to invest in their talents and helping them to realize their own potential. Mr. Eugene Ankomah is also the Secretary General of WHD UK. Welcome, Mr. Eugene Ankomah. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you, Viva. What an honor to be here. I've been looking forward to this. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eugene. So now, Eugene, starting points are really interesting. Could you please just take us back in time? Tell us about your early beginnings. How did you get your start in art?
Sure. I think it's always been there. And the best way I can, the reason why I say this is because when I look back, there was always art. So my mother was a seamstress, and I remember she had these really thick books that had different drawings of different models. And this is how she was able to design the clothing that she was making for people. And I would sit next to her and be looking through the books. And I remember being, and this is maybe age 5, I was so aware of the fact that what I was looking at were all drawn. So I would study the figures in the way, the person had drawn it or the illustrator had putting it together. But fast forward, when I went to school and we had art projects, this is when I knew that I had something special, because we would be given art projects to draw certain things or to copy things from books. And not only will I draw it very well, but I noticed whenever I drew, my friends would gather around me. and the teacher would come and stand behind me, staring at my drawing. And this gave me a sense that there was something that I was doing really well. And on top of this, the teacher would mark everybody's work, and this is in Ghana. And my friends would get, say, 70%, and we'd be like, wow. The next person would get like 80%, we'd be like, wow. And then say the third person would get something like, 92%. But when mine came, it was like 98 or 99. And then everybody was like, oh my goodness, so I knew from that moment moving forward that there was something that I had, and I've never looked back.
That's a really interesting story, Eugene. And I also saw from your Wikipedia page that you're also considered a child prodigy, which
Yes,
is amazing.
I mean, of course, I had no idea what that meant. But if you're growing up and people keep telling you that, you draw as if you're like an adult, or you draw like you're really experienced, or I learned really, really quickly how to do different things. This was the other thing. So even as a child, I would collect materials and sculpt. So I had a real sensitivity for just making stuff. And I did it really quickly and really fast. I just had a natural understanding. Where it comes from, I don't know, but it's what it is. Yeah.
It's really amazing. So Eugene, what do you consider your unique selling point as an artist and personality? What do you bring to the table?
I think that I am very honest with myself, with my creations, and I have accepted that with everything that I have done or every phase that I've gone through, that there is more. And by that, what I mean is I'm always expecting myself to do more, and I'm not stuck in a rut. I'm not stuck in in a project or a style. I'm constantly evolving, and each stage that I go to is honest, is designed for myself, is designed from my heart, and it's designed to give back to people in terms of opening their own eyes, their own minds, not only to what is possible, but to their own power, if I can put it that way. And I think that being the center of what I do really resonates with a lot of people, because it frees them.
So what you do is you design from your heart to give back to people.
Absolutely.
So what is creativity for you? When do you feel most creative, Eugene?
I think I'll answer the second question first. I always feel creative. In fact, I have started a project with a friend of mine who's a filmmaker, and all we're doing is I just walk around and I see different things, and I add to things that I see. So it could be like a wet tissue on the floor. That looks like a bird to me. So I go into my bag, I pull out a pen, like a marker pen, and then I add like an eye or like the bird's feet. And then, there you go, magically you have something. So I feel creative all the time. I could be watching a movie and I might see something, and then immediately my mind is like, oh my goodness, I need to record this. And so it's just there all the time. I cannot help it. I cannot stop it. It's just constantly there. Yeah.
That's great. Creativity is just constantly there.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
as an artist, what do you think, what role does an artist play in society, Eugene, and what's the importance of being an artist in these times right now?
Sure. I think, we have to remember that art is a language in itself. So the same way we are speaking, of course, art is a visual language. So what I create or what I express speaks. And I think the power of art is that it affects people's minds in a different way. It makes you feel things that you may not necessarily know was there inside you. It makes you think differently. It makes you realize, other aspects of your emotions. It makes you question. It makes you more alive in terms of what it's given to you. So I think one of the things that I do right now in our strange times we're living in is I use the art to, again, open people's minds. And ultimately, it's about helping them to find their own voice. So if I look like this, and if I am creating, out of my heart, I am hoping that, when people look at my work in our conversations, that they also gain a sense of self-confidence and, the power to go forward and to make for themselves. And this doesn't have to necessarily be creatively. They don't have to try to be creative like myself. It's about installing a mindset that can hopefully, get them to also walk away and own their own power, their own ideas, in whatever it is they want to do.
Okay, because many want to become artists, so they just want to know how to go about it. So, Eugene, what do you do to get in your creative zone? Do you have a ritual, or is there a schedule that you follow?
I do not necessarily have a schedule or a ritual. All I do is that I constantly have, what you call it, like, notebooks on my phone, on my iPad. And what I do is anything that I see that gives me an idea, I immediately record it. Or so if you're with me, you see me constantly taking photographs, making notes. Because what I believe is that if you have something coming to you, like an idea or a concept, do not lose it, capture it, and you don't necessarily have to create it at that moment, but make sure you capture it and then you follow it up later. But this is my, trick. And because of this, I never run out of ideas, because there's always something to follow or something to go back to. So that is my way of doing it. But the message here is, do not let ideas go. When they come to you, own them, and yeah, save them for later.
Right, do not let your ideas go. So what would you consider your dream project as an artist, and what kind of work would you like to do more in the future, Eugene?
Sure. I mean, there's so much to this. I would love to show in the big museums around the world, in America, in London, and I'm sure that it's on its way. But yes, I would love to show at the Tate. One of the projects that I've been working on recently, Reclaim, which is all about the anti-knife crime protest. That piece, I have had so many people, and they still telling me, even under the COVID situation, that that piece or that concept needs to be shown in a much bigger space. So I would love to show this at the Tate Gallery in London, but also one of the plans is to take it to City Hall, which is, of course, the Mayor of London's office. So those are two great places that I would love to show. And just to add something else, I don't necessarily believe that art has to always be shown in your traditional gallery. I think sometimes when it's taken out of the context of the gallery and put in a place you do not expect, it can actually speak more and be more powerful. Again, hence the idea of City Hall.
So you're finding different platforms for your art, different venues.
Absolutely.
So Eugene, you're a multi-awarded artist. What do you consider your greatest achievement so far?
Sure. I mean, I think it'll be very easy with this question to say that, stuff that I've done for, Buckingham Palace, or stuff that I've done, bringing the communities together with the anti-knife crime project. And all of these, there's so many different things I could go into. But actually, I will answer your question slightly differently. I think that with all the challenges there's been for myself as an artist, trying to project my uniqueness, my language, my thoughts, my way of doing things, I think the cultivation of me putting myself together with all the difficulties and all the lessons that have been learned along the way, with myself being able to reach out to other people to help them, in finding themselves. I think my mentoring of young people, all of these things, I think I would consider my greatest achievement. Part of the reason why I say this is this. I think it's very easy to list a whole group of things. And of course, there's nothing wrong with this. But I think when you're in a place where you understand that you can keep achieving and you can keep having shows and around the world and all of these things, and of course it's beautiful and it's brilliant, but I prefer the idea that I have cultivated myself or cultivated my skills, my empathy, and I've ended up in a place where I am ready to give back to people. And I think being in that place is what I would consider my greatest achievement, because I think once you're in that place, once you're centered in that place, you can go off in whatever direction you want and you can succeed in whatever you want. So to answer your question again, I think the cultivation of the difficulties, the skills, connecting with people and being in a place where I have the power to raise other people will be my greatest achievement.
Wow. So Eugene, what is the greatest thing about being an artist in the UK?
Wow, lovely question. I think it's just the freedom that I have as a person. It's just the fact that I have that the opportunity to just express myself in all kinds of ways. So, for example, if I look like this and I appear in maybe Italy, they might want to chase me and possibly stone me because I might look too strange or something. But I think in London there's the freedom. We are more perhaps accepting of the mixture of different cultures that live in the city. So yes, it's just the freedom that the freedom that we have or that I have to be able to express myself and also encourage other people to express themselves. It's for me a really great thing.
So Eugene, you're a creative and not everything that you create, possibly the world accepts. Sometimes maybe they get rejected. So how do you handle rejection, and has rejection ever affected your creative process?
Yes, another great question. I have gone through stages in the past where things that I have created have not been accepted in exhibitions, or they've been seen as too controversial for the spaces where I was showing them. And I think I have come to accept that rejection or failure, depending on how you see it, is part of life. I've also come to accept that some of my ideas might be, what's the word? Might be a little bit far in the sense that people are yet to kind of catch up on my ideas. So when the rejection happens or the misunderstanding happens, I've learned to just be very, very cool about it. It's okay. And if that means that I have to keep working for people to catch up, that's perfectly fine. I'm always working on multiple things at once anyway. So I'm never really affected by people's misunderstandings or judgment because I realize that we are all on a journey, and on this journey, we are all at different stages. And that doesn't mean that if I am into something that somebody else has to be. So I accept other people's opinions and their reactions. But for me, it's about being strong enough to own what I have or what I am and to stick to it, because I think that is very, very important.
So Eugene, as an artist, I'd just like to know what gives your life meaning as an artist?
What gives my life meaning is just the fact that I wake up every single day with a wonderful joy in my heart, knowing that I've been given this gift, and this gift allows me to see, to think differently. And like I mentioned earlier, the fact that I have reached a stage where I understand the power of what I have and what I am, but to also reach out to other people and help them not be afraid to also, be who they are, and to own their own language, to own their own power, to own their own vision, and to move forward with that, strongly, or fearlessly. I think, yeah.
So, Eugene, you were also UK Creative Director for Flame International Festival for Fashion and Art. Could you please tell us more about it, and please invite us to your online event as well?
Yeah, sure. So Flame International Festival for Fashion and Art is run by a lady called Yana Flame. And Yana has been putting some amazing shows together. And I think it was about a year and a half ago where we all met, as in physically met in a space in a beautiful location in London. And you had the most amazing, fashion designers displaying what they do, including Yana herself. And of course, with COVID, it's all happened to be online. This started actually just yesterday, and it continues today, and then Saturday being the last day. Yes, you will see me in there, encouraging people, encouraging the designers and all the other artists. I'm a judge in there as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to lift up people and just encourage them, and just getting them to understand and to know that, yeah, some of us are really behind them. So yes, that's the Flame International Festival for Art and Fashion. If you want to know more, on my Facebook page, I have a couple of things on there which you can click on, and it will take you straight to what is happening this evening, which is, I think, around 7 p.m. Yeah.
You're a man who wears so many hats. So you're also the Secretary General of WHD UK. So what are your future plans for WHD UK?
That's right. Yes, I mean, I get so excited thinking about WHD because I think there's so much we can do. So much we can do. I mean, again, if it wasn't for COVID, but it doesn't matter. We'll come back. I think I want to create more press for WHD. Which I have already started, but it will show in good time. I want to connect WHD with other organizations. So, for example, there's a radio station who have been contacting me and wanting to work with me for the last 6 months. They're called Diversity Radio, and Diversity Radio it's an organization or a radio station that talks all about mental health. And they're trying to break down the stigma and all the negativity that surrounds, mental health. So, for example, I think it'd be wonderful to collaborate WHD, or to bring WHD together with, Diversity Radio in trying to project, positivity back into the world. But another thing that I have also designed or written down, and I can't wait, it's an art exhibition for a lot of young people. We want to reward them, or we want to award them, and we want to really lift them up. One of the things recently, and I don't know if the viewers are aware of this, so a big, wide research was made recently. And with everything that has been going on, most young people feel that somehow their dreams, their visions, and their hopes for the future is all in doubt. Why? Because they feel like everything is, doom and gloom, especially because of COVID. So, for example, I would love to use this art exhibition idea that I have as a way of just getting them to kind of vent out, if you like, their concerns and worries and that type of thing, but to also use it as a platform to get them to really see that there is a future, and that the future is bright, and to get them to kind of just have a bit of a fight about them, but to have an understanding that they own their future, that they can move forward and change things. So those are some of the things that I have in mind. There are other things that I write down. Sometimes, I might be reading a book and an idea pops in my mind with WHD. But yeah, I'm really excited.
And we also have a Women's Day event coming up on the 8th of March.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
you could also invite us to that
Yes,
one as
please.
well.
Definitely. So on the 8th of March, it will be live on Zoom. We have the International Women's Day event. And this is something that I'm really looking forward to. We have lots of young people performing. Actually, just before we came online, I had a great email from a teacher from a top school saying that they have a violinist, they have a poet ready for us. So I'm really excited. But yeah, we want to celebrate women. We want to celebrate all the wonderful things about women. So on my page, so to, yes, go back on my page to see some of these things that are coming up.
We're looking forward to many activities you have in mind for WHD UK, Eugene.
Absolutely.
And so for our final question, Mr. Eugene Ankomah, what is your inspiring message to the world?
There's a few of them. I think my first one is, do not give up, whatever your situation is, whatever your circumstance. I would say that often the problems we face or the challenges we face is because we try to solve them in the same old ways. So, if you're going through things that are challenging, that are, pressing you down, try to find creative ways of handling the problem. And of course, I do not mean artistic creativity. I mean, try to think about things in different ways in approaching whatever the challenges may be that you have or that you're facing. I would also say that, we should all learn more and more to accept failure. There is nothing at all wrong with failure. I think in failing, you get yourself back up and you learn more through failing to be able to achieve success. And I think the other thing that I will say is, let's learn to give to the people around us. Always watch out for the people around you. Any way you can help, little, big, whatever it is, keep giving. And I think in giving, you get back so much more than you will ever realize. So keep giving, keep watching out for other people. Remember that we live in a world and the world is a community. Let's create more love and let's give.
I love those words. Thank you for adding color to our lives with creativity and inspiration today by sharing with us your passion, journey through life, and wisdom, Mr. Eugene Ankomah, internationally respected visual artist, mentor, and Secretary General of WHD UK. Thank you for joining us here today, and we look forward to seeing more of your artworks, exhibits, and events. We would like to share. Thank you so much, Eugene. We would like to share a quote by Neil Gaiman. Life is sometimes hard. Things go wrong in life and in love and in business and in friendship and in health and in all other ways that life can go wrong. And when things get tough, this is what you should do. Make good art. We hope on this episode we were able to inspire you to express yourself, explore your creativity, and create your own art to get you through these tough times. Let's celebrate our uniqueness by sharing our creativity with the world. This has been World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions show. If today's discussion inspired you, please share the link with your family and friends. Share with us your takeaways from today. Follow us on our social media accounts. Click subscribe on our YouTube channel, WHD Media. Visit our WHD website, www.hd.org.uk for more inspiring events. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. To our frontliners, we salute you. We thank you for your sacrifices and dedication to humanity. On behalf of WHD team, especially those working behind the scenes, WHD Chairman, Dr. Abdul Basit Syed, WHD Director of Global Operations, Ms. Sarah Wilson. We thank you, our virtual audience from around the world, for joining us. I'm Viva Andrada O'Flynn. Please join us again next week as we start Women's Month by having a discussion with Janaki Gurung, Secretary General of WHD Nepal, as we inspire the world here on Inspiring Millions Show.